K Michelle, I'm gonna need you to get to tweeting or something. Cause you gonna need to explain yourself after all this. Okay? I'm gonna need you to fire up them Twitter fingers and get to thinking and tweeting. You gonna have to give us something. Okay, because you've been taking us through there, taking us through there. How is this all happening right now? Let's break it all down. What's happening? The who, the what, the how. Let's talk about it. Real Housewives of Atlanta, Sky Squad, we are in the building. Okay. So by the time you're seeing this, I will have actually recorded this video the night before. Okay. So, but I'm trying to get ahead of my work because I got to travel. So by the time you're seeing this, I will either be in the air or just landed. Okay. With that being said, let's discuss what is going on with the guy who is allegedly at the center of the K Michelle and Porsha beef. If you've been watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta, you will know that K Michelle has revealed that Porsha has been allegedly sleeping with her last known, last known public ex. Okay. Public X is what she said and is what she has been saying. Okay. Now, this ex allegedly told her things that Porsha was either saying about her or asking about her. All right. This ex also allegedly said something to the degree about how Porsha said something. How does she always end up with somebody else's ex or something like that? Porsha, for her part, on the show said that she did not overlap with K Michelle when she was with this man. Okay. Whatever they did when she was with them, it didn't overlap. And they were not even friends at that point. K Michelle's point was, well, wouldn't you think that you should tell me about that if we're going to be hanging out together? For which some of you in the audience felt like, yeah, I would want to know as well. And some of you in the audience felt like, well, she shouldn't care because she's married. K Michelle's other point was that, well, if you've been telling him or asking information about me or saying stuff and showing him when I'm calling, then it was made for us to seem like, oh, this had to have been recent. So the guy at the center of this is Nash. Okay. Now, he says that K Michelle is DELULU. He's also shocked at being referred to as an ex. So let's take this back. Shout out to our friends No Chaser for this. But let's take it back. Let's take it all the way. Because I was tagged, as you can see here, earlier on this post on Milashan's page on Instagram. So you guys go follow Milashan. If you chances are, if you're following, like you already know. You already know. You're already following. But just to be on the safe side, go on ahead over there, rewatch this entire breakdown because she does an excellent job of breaking down what exactly has gone on. And so I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version, but you can go over there and you can get the full tea, okay? So essentially she was watching a live stream with Cocktails with Carly and Nosh. But something happened to the stream. It either got shut down or taken down. I don't really know. It says they shut the live stream down. The tea was too hot. Okay. So she ends up, I guess, DMing with Nosh. Now, who is Nosh? For those of you guys that don't know, he was the person that one of the people that K Michelle was dating when she was on the Queen's Court. Now, we say dating, but it's a reality TV show, so I don't really know in those dating shows, are they really, really, truly dating? I don't really feel like K Michelle was really feeling either any of the guys that she was with as much as she was maybe there to be entertaining, to be entertained, and to go for the ride, right? So, what we also know is that from this, we learn quite a bit. Quite a bit. Nosh makes it seem as though he and Kay really weren't doing anything more than just talking, like communicating. And then apparently some things occurred after about 2 months, and he just didn't really want to be with her like that in any way, shape, or form. So they just ended up as friends. But when you look at the text messages, as I'm going to show you here, now I'm not going to play Milashan's clip because I want you guys to go and get the full tea from her. But what I want you to notice is that as you look right here, if you look real close, right above where Social Enigma has tagged me, you'll see Porsha for real has commented with the target emoji, like the dart hitting the target emoji. So Porsha has essentially co-signed this as being the case. So with that being said, let's get into what No Chaser TV posted, which is essentially screenshots from Milashan's page, but just for the sake of trimming this down in terms of how we discuss this, because there's something else that I want to cover, is this. You can see the text thread. Basically, Milashan is like, hey, I just got some questions about what was going on with your interview tonight. Apparently, it's been postponed, he says, but it's still coming. So she wants to know if he would come onto her channel. And to that, I say, Nash, please do the interview with her so we can find out what's really going on. It's crazy that I've got to piece all of this together from the work that we all do on our platforms versus getting it all from the show. That's a problem that I have. Like, we have got to do the detective work to figure out what the heck is going on this show. So then he says, basically, super shocked to be referred to as an ex. Basically, he's, I guess, kind of saying here, well, we weren't really together like that. That's what it's giving. So if you go on through the thread that is posted, Milashan says, I feel that right because I guess they had some other conversations. She's new to the show. Porsha has been on the show. That's why she keeps saying it's not her show. So then the guy says, yep, she's trying to find her buzz. Basically, kind of indicating that maybe K Michelle is just trying to find her story that's going to jump off, that's really going to give her a boost on the show. So then Milashan asked, did you tell Kay that Porsha wanted to go public? Because that's something that K Michelle indicated, that the guy was trying to go public with her or something like that. Or Porsha wanted to take the guy public and he wasn't into that. That's what K Michelle says that the guy told her. And Porsha said, why do I always end up talking to somebody's ex? Because that's what she said. You told her. And then he says, again, DELULU, that's not how that went. So it sounds like he may have said something to that effect, but or maybe he didn't. Maybe it wasn't that at all, and it was completely misconstrued. Then he says she ran with the story in her head. So this is all making it seem to me like, K Michelle, you have got to do some explaining. You got some explaining to do. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you and this guy if you didn't work out the details of the story with this guy before you decided to bring him into the story, or if maybe perhaps you thought he wasn't going to at some point be looped into the conversation. But I would say to you that you would probably need to make sure that you've gotten those details down packed first before telling us this story. So, what I'm left with at the end of this is one of two things. One, you potentially misconstrued the situation. Okay. K. Michelle, maybe you misinterpreted things he was saying and also your relationship with him. Maybe. Because when we get down into the weeds, you were supposed to go onto this show with a coach as per your interview with Jason Lee. And then at the last second, there was a switcheroo, and then you get married to Dr. Caston. So I am now trying to follow the story, and I'm left to wonder if it is option 2. Actually, there's 3 options. Ain't none of it really true. And maybe this is being misread by you and mistold by you in some way, shape, or form. I generally feel like she believes this, but it does make her look, I don't know, it makes her look, you got to explain it, K Michelle. You got to come and explain this because this looks crazy for you. Okay. No, either you lying or he lying. What is the truth? Okay. Because based on this information here, okay, we might got a problem. Okay. We might got a problem. Because if he then goes on to say more, which I'm sure he may end up doing, and I low-key want to know more because now we've brought him into the story, okay? We've brought him into the story. So at this point now, he's going to probably feel like, yeah, I'm going to get my truth out there, or I'm going to get my side of the story out there as well. And so this is what happens. This is a problem that happens when you now bring in someone else from outside of the group, the narrative arc of the actual show, and you pretty much put them in a space where they got to respond with their version of events or their side of the story. So, Kate, I don't know, man. You just gonna have to. You're gonna have to either you're gonna have to get to tweeting. Okay, you're gonna have to get to tweeting tonight. Okay, we're gonna give you about 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours to respond to let us know what the tea is, boo. Because otherwise, this looking like it's not looking too good. Okay, it's not looking too good. Shout out to all the description, all the links will be in the descriptions for both No Chaser and Milashawn's channels so that you guys can go and get that information and listen to it for yourself because the breakdown, okay, my God today. My God today. And it's disappointing. You know why it's disappointing to me? Because this is definitely not how I saw this season going. This is not what I foresaw when I thought about how the show was going to play out from starting at episode 1. This is not what I thought at all. Okay. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Chime down in the chat, baby, after, especially if once you've seen everything, if you've already seen it, I want to know what your thoughts are because I'm gooped, I'm gagged, I am befuddled, I'm weary. Actually, I'm weary. I'm weary because I feel like we are having to piece together the puzzle, and I don't like to have to do that. There's already a thing on reality TV where we don't always trust what we see, and sometimes we know we don't trust what we see. And so we just kind of got to go along with it for the most part because we know it's TV. But when now we are fully engaged in a mystery and it almost feels like nothing is as it seems, and there's layers to the unseen, when it's this confusing, it becomes exhausting. And it shouldn't be that way. Okay? So, again, let me know what your thoughts are. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell button, and I will catch you in the next video.